guys, welcome back. I'm going to be working on the fenders for the Dooley bed. One of my glue joints did not hold. I checked them all today and I should have done this, and I don't know why I didn't think of it when I did that. But the one that had a really bad crack, it didn't hold. The glue cracked right where the crack was in the fiberglass or whatever type of material that is. So what I'm going to do is we're going to grind that down with my tool, which is already out there, and we are going to grind down this piece of sheet metal that I cut, and we are going to encase this in the glue. So we're basically going to grind down the dried glue, put new glue over top. We're not going to take the whole glue all the way off. We're going to take it down, and we're going to rough this up with hamburger disc here, and then we're going to take this and we're going to smear glue all over this, all over the back of the wheel housing, and then we're going to stick this in there, and then we're going to put glue all over top of it. So basically we're going to hide this piece of metal inside the glued area. I should have done that from the beginning, and I honestly don't know why I didn't do it. I guess I just didn't think about doing it. I've done this before, it works. So we're going to get that glued, and then we're going to flip them over and start working on gouging out the crack on the front side and putting some short strand fiberglass in there. Now I want to apologize first because it's windy today, but it's nice out. It's like 60 degrees, but it's real windy. So the microphone's going to pick up a ton of wind noise, and I apologize for that. I'll try not to talk too much when the wind's blowing because you're not going to be able to hear me. So let's go out there. Let me grab my goggles here. Let's go out there. Let's grind down that glue spot and get this metal installed into it. And then we'll work on the other wheel flare while this one's setting for a little bit before I flip it over. But as long as I'm gentle with it today, it should be fine. I want to get these primer today, these two parts, and the tailgate, which I need to take a red Scotch-Brite pad and hit a couple spots that I saw that were a little bit shiny where I didn't sand enough with the sandpaper. So I want to get these three in primer today so that these can start drying. Next week I want to pull the bed back out of the spray booth. It's been in there. I've left it in there because I've been working on arcade cabinets on my other YouTube channel, and every time I bake the primer on those cabinets, it's just drying that bed more and more because it's in a 120 degree environment, just sitting in there drying. So it's good that it's in there. And I'm probably going to leave these wheel flares and the tailgate in there, as well as for when I do the rest of the paint work and everything on these arcade cabinets, just to let it dry. Usually in the summertime, I'll take some of these parts and I'll put them in the sun for the day or two, and that really dries this stuff up as well. But obviously it's still springtime. We're having a lot of cold, rain, and stuff like that, so I can't do that. So I've been just leaving them in the spray booth. So all right, let's go out there, get this piece of metal glued in here. So this is the one that did not hold. The other ones were real small. Okay, that's pretty good there. I'm gonna go grab a glove. Okay, I'm gonna let this dry in the sun. Might use a little heat gun just to get it to firm up. I don't care if it's a little sticky. I just need it to firm up a little bit so I can flip it over and work on the other side. So now let me get set up and we'll flip this over and show you how I'm gonna address these cracks. All right, I'm gonna get some short strand fiberglass. We're gonna fill those two in. Nothing fancy, nothing expensive, just Bondo glass from Bondo brand Bondo. It has short strands of fiberglass in it, and what that does is helps bond the two sides of the cracks together. We already have that glue on the back side, which is bonding the crack, and we'll put this on the front. But and then that other one that I just fixed with the piece of sheet metal, once that cures, that's gonna be really solid. We'll grind out the front again, and we'll put some of this on there too. It's kind of you're kind of double reinforcing it. And we don't want to put it all over the panel. We're just going to put it where the repair is. That's why I didn't go crazy grinding real far past where I needed to. Hopefully that wind out there is not too bad. It comes and goes. Got motorcycles out today. I gotta get a, oh, found one. Thought I had to go get a paint stick, but I got one. So we don't need a ton of it. Just enough to fill in what we kind of ground out. And you can see how this stuff just stays there. That's the strands holding it together. Put a little hardener in it. Regular blue hardener is fine. You can use white, you can use pink. Doesn't really matter. If it's a little colder out, add a little extra. This stuff definitely takes a little bit longer to set up than regular body filler. After I put this on, I'll be back in a little bit. We'll get the, I'm going to use a heat gun on that other glue just to firm it up a little bit, and then we'll get that one flipped over, get those ground out, and get a coat of this on as well. I don't know how well you can see that. Okay, I'm gonna let that dry. I'm not gonna do anything else with it. Okay, I got those other spots to dry enough to where you can touch it. It's not sticky or anything like that. Still gonna be gentle with them. I'm not gonna go applying a bunch of pressure or anything to it for 24 hours. I did grind out the front side so that we can put this fiberglass resin on here. Or I'm sorry, this short strand fiberglass. We'll put that on there, and then we just have to wait a little bit. Then we can sand it down, do a little bit of dolphin glaze over top, and after that, I just need to scuff up with some 180 grit to a couple spots that got a little scuffed up from being on the stands upside down. And then at that point, we can primer those two and the tailgate. And then that'll be it for this video. It's not gonna be a real long video, but I did want to show you what I was doing on these stress cracks in these wheel flares, so that if somebody else has this issue, hopefully this will help them out. I mean, this isn't a foolproof way of fixing them, but it's really the only way I really know how to fix them. I don't think you can't plastic weld it as far as my knowledge or anything else. So you kind of got to just come up with your own idea. I would definitely recommend the metal in the glue on the backside. That's a good way to stiffen it up. So all right, let's go put a coat on these couple spots. Then they're going to dry for a little bit, and then we can sand it and put some dolphin glaze over top. You can see I grooved in there pretty far. Okay, we'll let that dry. All right, I'm gonna go out there and we're gonna sand down those spots with the DA and some 80 grit sandpaper. Okay, I'm gonna get that stuff blown off. and then I'll be back in a minute, and we're gonna mix up some of this glazing, buddy. Okay, what we're gonna use is this U-Pull Dolphin Glaze. It is UP0714. I kind of like these foil pouches because it's kind of like a toothpaste tube. You can kind of roll it up and get all the product out. And we're going to use a block sander on this real fast. I also use this fantastic glaze by U-Pull, but you can't get all the product out of here as well as you can these foil tubes. Remember not to stir this stuff. Stirring it causes air bubbles, which gives you pinholes. Okay, I'll let that dry for about 10-15 minutes and then we can sand that down. All right, I'm gonna go block sand those down. I'm just using a 6-inch block sander with a used piece of 80 grit so it doesn't sand it down real fast. I'm just gonna do that off camera. It's getting windier out. So I'm gonna go knock that down with 80 grit and then some 180 grit and then just go over the areas that need scuffed up. And I'm gonna get them in the spray booth and we're gonna get some primer on these. Okay, I got them in the spray booth. It's crammed in here. I've got arcade cabinets, the bed, there's a dolly over there, then I have the 2 wheel wells, wheel flares, and the tailgate. So first thing I'm going to do is wax and grease remove these because who knows what's been on them, or what's on them. Hopefully there's enough in here and I don't have to mix up more. But let me set up the tripod. We're going to use these 4-ply lint-free towels and we're going to wipe it down. We're going to spray it real good and then wipe it down. Okay, I must spray them down real good. I ended up filling this thing up because it was pretty low, especially around the exhaust pipes. I want to get it real wet. mix up some primer. Okay, these parts are only getting 2 coats of primer. The wheel flares, where I had done my body work to, those areas I'm going to hit first with a coat and then 2 coats over top. That's all these parts should need because they are pretty good shape. I spilled a little bit of wax and grease remover on here when I was filling up the thing. But it's a 4-to-1 mix. I use this Summit 2K primer. Had really good success with this, so I stick with it. So we're going to take this all the way up as high as I can on the 4-to-1 chart, which I'm going to take it to the top of the 1. I'm kind of shaking it a little bit just to get it to come out quicker. So that's our 4 parts primer. Now we're going to put our 1 part hardener. Then we're going to put about 15% reducer. I'm going to go out there, I'm going to hit the bodywork areas on the wheel flares first, and then put a coat on the tailgate, and then at that point I'll come back to the wheel flares and put the first coat over the whole wheel flare. And then we'll let it sit for 10 minutes, and then we'll put the second coat on. And then these will be ready to start drying. Remember, this stuff takes a while to mix up, so take your time stirring it up. Make sure you get it all the way stirred up so you don't have any thick spots in here. Alright, I'm going to get this ready, and let's go out there and get some of this on. first I turned down the air and I kind of just put it on a little bit more texture just to give it a good bite. There are a little bit of rippling looking stuff right here in the tailgate, so I ended up putting a third coat. What it is where there was double-sided tape from the envelopes, when I sanded down the paint, it made the paint a little ripply. So I put a third coat of 2K primer on it, and when I block sand it, they'll go away. Right there, you can sort of see it right there. They look like almost like little dents, but they'll come out. There's plenty of material here to work with. So all right, well that's going to end this video on the Chevy Dooley for today, probably for the next couple days, and then I'll be back for another video, guys. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share. Questions or comments, feel free to ask. Other than that, I will see you guys later.